In a significant move that underscores the complex interplay of geopolitics, economic strategy, and the global race for electric vehicle dominance, India has firmly closed its doors to BYD, China's leading electric vehicle manufacturer. Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal's recent statement, "As of now, it is a no," serves as the official confirmation of what industry insiders have suspected for months. Chinese automotive investments face an increasingly challenging path in the world's most populous democracy. The rejection of BYD's ambitious $1 billion investment proposal, which would have been executed in partnership with local conglomerate Mega Engineering, represents more than just a routine regulatory decision. It signals India's evolving approach to foreign investment in sectors deemed strategically important, particularly when those investments originate from its northern neighbor and geopolitical rival. India has to be cautious about its strategic interests who we allow to invest, Goyal explained, articulating a sentiment that has gained significant traction within India's policy circles since border clashes with China in 2020. The minister's additional comment that BYD would need to play by the rules to gain market access hints at deeper concerns regarding Chinese business practices and their potential implications for national security. These concerns aren't merely theoretical. Indian officials have repeatedly expressed apprehension about the opaque ownership structures of many Chinese corporations and their potential connections to Beijing's military-industrial complex. The fear that seemingly commercial investments might serve dual purposes, economic and strategic, has prompted India to adopt a more cautious stance, particularly in sectors involving advanced technology and critical infrastructure. BYD's rejection doesn't exist in isolation. Great Wall Motor, another major Chinese automotive player, previously abandoned its India plans after failing to secure necessary regulatory approvals. These decisions reflect a broader pattern of heightened scrutiny applied to Chinese investments, following the implementation of Press Note 3 in 2020, which mandates government approval for investments from countries sharing a land border with India, a measure primarily aimed at Chinese capital. The concerns extend beyond security considerations. Indian policymakers have voiced frustration with what they perceive as China's non-market economic practices, including substantial government subsidies for manufacturers and strategic loan write-offs that potentially distort global competition. These practices, they argue, create an uneven playing field that disadvantages both Indian companies and other international competitors. In stark contrast to its approach toward BYD, India has rolled out the proverbial red carpet for Tesla, actively courting Elon Musk's American electric vehicle giant to establish operations within its borders. This differential treatment illuminates India's strategic calculus: foster partnerships with Western technology leaders, while limiting dependence on Chinese suppliers in critical sectors. Tesla's progress in entering the Indian market has been substantial and accelerating. The company has already secured premium retail spaces in Mumbai and Delhi for its initial showrooms, begun the certification and homologation processes for its popular Model Y and Model 3 vehicles, and reportedly engaged in discussions with India's Tata Group regarding potential supply chain partnerships. These developments suggest that Tesla's formal entry into the Indian market may be imminent. India's contrasting approaches to BYD and Tesla reflect a sophisticated economic strategy that balances multiple objectives. On one hand, the country seeks to protect and nurture its nascent domestic EV industry, led by homegrown champions like Tata Motors and Mahindra. India's prohibitive import duties, reaching 100% on fully built vehicles, serve as a powerful incentive for foreign manufacturers to establish local production facilities rather than simply importing finished products. On the other hand, India recognizes the value of selective foreign partnerships in accelerating its technological development and manufacturing capabilities. Tesla, with its advanced battery technology, software expertise, and global brand recognition, represents an ideal partner that can help India leapfrog certain developmental stages in its journey toward electrification. The broader context of this selective approach involves India's ambitious vision to position itself as a global hub for electric vehicle production. The government has implemented various incentive schemes, including the Production-Linked Incentive (PLI) program, which offers financial benefits to companies manufacturing advanced automotive components and electric vehicles domestically. These initiatives aim to attract high-value manufacturing while simultaneously developing local supply chains and technical expertise. India's EV strategy also aligns with its climate commitments. As the world's third-largest carbon emitter, India faces mounting pressure to decarbonize its economy. Transportation represents a significant portion of the country's emissions profile, making the transition to electric mobility an environmental imperative as well as an economic opportunity. The government's approach to foreign investment in the EV sector thus represents a delicate balancing act between multiple, sometimes competing priorities: national security, industrial development, technological advancement, environmental sustainability, and geopolitical positioning. By welcoming Tesla while rejecting BYD, India signals its intention to pursue electrification on its own terms, leveraging foreign partnerships selectively while maintaining strategic autonomy. This selective approach has not gone unnoticed in Beijing. Chinese officials and state media have criticized what they characterize as discriminatory treatment of Chinese companies, arguing that such policies violate principles of free trade and open markets. They contend that India's concerns about security risks are overblown and serve primarily as pretexts for protectionist measures designed to shield domestic manufacturers from competition. Indian officials counter that their concerns are legitimate and that China itself maintains numerous restrictions on foreign investment in sensitive sectors. They point to China's own requirements for technology transfer and joint ventures in many industries as evidence that Beijing's criticism reflects a double standard. The implications of India's decision extend beyond bilateral relations with China. Other global automakers are closely monitoring developments, recognizing that India's approach to BYD and Tesla may provide insights into how their own investment proposals might be received. The country's massive market potential, with over 1.4 billion consumers and rapidly growing middle class, makes it too important to ignore, despite regulatory complexities. For Indian consumers, the government's approach presents both opportunities and challenges. The entry of companies like Tesla could accelerate the availability of advanced electric vehicles and potentially drive down prices through increased competition. However, the exclusion of BYD, which has developed a reputation for producing affordable yet technologically competitive electric vehicles, might limit options in certain market segments. The domestic EV industry stands to benefit from the government's protective measures in the short term, gaining breathing room to develop capabilities and scale operations before facing the full force of international competition. Companies like Tata Motors, which has made significant investments in electric vehicle technology, may use this opportunity to strengthen their market positions and develop export capabilities. In the longer term, however, India's selective approach to foreign investment in the EV sector will need to evolve as the domestic industry matures. Excessive protection could lead to complacency and technological stagnation, while overly restrictive policies might discourage valuable foreign partnerships and limit access to global innovation networks. The BYD decision thus represents not just a response to immediate security concerns, but also a strategic calculation about how best to develop India's electric vehicle ecosystem. By carefully managing foreign participation, India aims to build domestic capabilities while benefiting from selective international partnerships, a nuanced approach that reflects the complex interplay of economic, security, and environmental considerations in contemporary industrial policy. As the global automotive industry undergoes its most profound transformation in a century, with electrification, automation, and connectivity reshaping every aspect of vehicle design, production, and use, India's selective approach to foreign investment may well determine whether it emerges as a leader or laggard in the mobility systems of the future. The rejection of BYD and courtship of Tesla represent early moves in what promises to be a long and complex strategic game.